Tonight, residents in scenic southern New Mexico reckoning with the fury of raging floodwaters, taking stock of anything left. In Ruidoso, the flood so terrible it cleaved through whole neighborhoods, so powerful it ripped homes away from their owners.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
This store's sped-up surveillance video shows just how high the water rose. Overnight, exhausted rescue workers made the discovery they were hoping to avoid. 3 dead, including 2 young children, a 7-year-old boy and a 4-year-old girl.
The little boy was found under the utility trailer by the bridge on a meander, and the little girl was about 50 feet away from him.
Tonight, officials from Fort Bliss, Texas, confirming the children belong to a soldier and their spouse, both in the hospital with serious injuries.
There are multiple vehicles and mobile homes starting to float away here at Gatlin.
Rescuers working around the clock, scouring for the stranded. In all, officials say 65 swiftwater rescues made just yesterday.
We had people in trees, we had people in the water, people trapped in houses with water coming into them.
The village's river, the Rio Ruidoso, rising 18 feet in just 30 minutes.
The mud is just everywhere.
Lifelong Ruidoso resident Eric Orozco says he and his family's decades-old home is just too far gone.
You just see so much work that you put into, and not just for us, bro, it's for everyone in this community right here that's going through this flood damage, and it just really hurts.
Officials say part of the problem, burn scars from a series of wildfires that cut into the hillsides almost exactly a year ago. Now, the town's mayor says they're runways for disaster.
How direct is the devastation we're seeing today to the fact that there was a saturation on that scar running off into town?
It's 100% related to that. There's nothing to absorb it, to slow it down, so the water picks up whatever debris and pushes it.
A cycle of climate disaster, punishing residents just for calling these hillsides home.
Steve Patterson and his team join us live from the disaster zone tonight. And Steve, we just heard the mayor right there mention those burn scars. So how long will those pose a threat to the people who live there?
Tom, the mayor tells me if this community gets a rain that bad, anytime within the next 3 to 5 years, there is the potential for more disastrous flooding. Meanwhile, officials are starting to run the numbers. They estimate about 35 homes, and I mean just residential homes here, have been destroyed. Tom.
Steve Patterson amid all that destruction in New Mexico. I want to bring in Al Roker right now. Al, it's been such a chaotic week or so, and the threat's still not over?
Yeah, that's the big problem here, Tom. And in fact, we've had such a volatile flooding summer because of climate change, warmer atmosphere, holding more water. We've been looking at this summer. It's the peak flooding season, prolonged and intense rainfall, and urbanization and land. A lot of folks in these areas that they didn't live in before. Burn scars and flood-prone locations. Now, what we are looking at, we've got severe thunderstorm watches and warnings south of New York, all the way down into the Carolinas as heavy thunderstorms make their way in. We've got the possibility for flash flooding or stretching from New York into Pennsylvania, down into the Carolinas. And we've got the risk of severe weather tonight in the Northeast and all the way into the plains for tonight. Wind gusts of 70 miles per hour, tornadoes possible. And then we move into tomorrow, more severe weather from Burlington to Columbia, out into the plains and the Rockies. And we're talking, Tom, another 5 inches of rain possible along the mid-Atlantic and heavier rain also in the upper Midwest. So we are not done by a long shot.
All right, Al Roker. Al, we appreciate that. We want to head to Texas now, where more than 170 people are still missing after the catastrophic floods there. And officials are facing questions about whether enough was done to warn residents about rising floodwaters. Here's Morgan Chesky.
Tonight, from high above a heartbroken hill country to the depths of its muddy, debris-filled waters, crews battling to find the more than 173 people still declared missing.
As crews dig through seemingly endless piles of debris, heartbreaking details are emerging. One of the first people upon this site sharing when they walked up, cell phones were still ringing beneath the rubble.
The death toll now at least 119 lives. Today, Braxton Jarman's high school confirmed the rising sophomore died in the catastrophic flooding. His stepmother and sister are still missing. And the family of 8-year-old Mary Kate Jacoby said she's entered the gates of heaven, calling her tiny but mighty and full of love. She was attending Camp Mystic, where these new images capture a telling scene. Campers' clothes and trunks spread outside a cabin as cadaver dogs carried out their grim work nearby. Today, amid questions about whether more should have been done to warn people about the dangerous rising waters, local officials said they are laser focused on search efforts.
You know, we're not running, we're not going to hide from everything. That's going to be checked into at a later time. I wish I could tell you that time. I don't know that time.
But records from a county meeting in 2016 show a former commissioner said the flood warning system was, quite simply, pretty antiquated, calling it marginal at the best.
Records show that the concept of flood warnings have been discussed at least 24 times by the county. What's the biggest reason that these systems have not gone into place at this point?
You know, Morgan, you and I grew up here. And I wasn't in office during those discussions. And frankly, I'm more focused on the future than the past.
Back in the flood zone.
When you first laid eyes on this one, what stood out?
It was the massive amounts of water.
Disaster specialist Larry Miner says his teams have seen the unthinkable. Cadaver dogs leading those on horseback to remote river areas where heartbreaking discoveries have yet to slow down.
We'll stay until we get it done. Yeah. And we want them to have closure.
And for the families of those who don't know what to think right now.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of loss. I feel for them. We're praying for them.
It's terrible what they're seeing over there. Morgan joins us now live, day 6 of this search. Morgan, it looks like it may be raining again where you are. Just how large is this search area?
Yeah, Tom, this is a monumental effort that crews are facing. The Guadalupe River runs for 22 miles throughout Kerr County. And keep in mind that much of that area not only has debris along the banks that you can see behind me, but debris underwater as well, posing a risk for those dive crews. That is why it is definitely an all-hands-on-deck approach here. Tom, the last time a living survivor was found, that was on Friday. That was 5 days ago. Whether or not anyone wants to admit it, we are now approaching the miracle stage here. Tom.
Morgan Chesky for us. Okay, Morgan. We thank you for watching. And remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.